Hello, this is Dave Sugarbaker, and today is the 7th day of June 2026, and I have a reading from Mark 9. So this is just after Jesus, Peter, James, and John come down from the Mount of Transfiguration, where they had that amazing experience high on the mountain. And this picks up right after that. When they came down to the disciples, they saw a great crowd around them and some scribes arguing with them. When the whole crowd saw him, they were immediately overcome with awe and they ran forward to greet him. He asked them, "What are you arguing about with them?" Someone from the crowd answered him, "Teacher, I brought my son. He has a spirit that makes him unable to speak, and whenever it seizes him, it dashes him down, and he foams and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. And I asked your disciples to cast it out, but they could not do so." He answered them, "You faithless generation, how much longer must I be among you? How much longer must I put up with you? Bring him to me." And they brought the boy to Jesus. When the spirit saw Jesus, immediately it convulsed the boy, and he fell on the ground and rolled about, foaming at the mouth. Jesus asked the father, "How long has this been happening to him?" And he said, "From childhood. It has often cast him into the fire and into the water to destroy him. But if you are able to do anything, have pity on us and help us." Jesus said to him, "If you are able, all things can be done for the one who believes." Immediately the father of the child cried out, "I believe, help my unbelief." There's more reading. When Jesus saw that a crowd came running together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, "You spirit that keeps this boy from speaking and hearing, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again." After crying out and convulsing him terribly, it came out, and the boy was like a corpse, so that most of them said, "He is dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him up, and he was able to stand. When he had entered the house, his disciples asked him privately, "Why could we not cast it out?" He said to them, "This kind can come out only through prayer." During my grammar school years, my father was an English teacher in a public high school on Long Island, 20 miles east of New York City. A good deal of his love of language and literature and poetry rubbed off on me. In New York State in the 1950s, high school students were required to pass a competency exam before proceeding to graduation. This was called the New York State Regents Test, and it was to ensure that all graduates of the state's educational system possessed basic competency in core subjects. One question on the English part of the test struck my father as being very interesting. The question was, of what comic strip is Walt Kelly the artist and author? And the answer is Pogo. Evidently, Pogo was enough of a cultural or literary phenomenon of the 50s to have been included in the New York State Regents exam. Some exposure to and some knowledge of Pogo was one of the signals of basic literacy. Pogo has been experiencing a resurgence of late. There's a group of Facebook followers who love Pogo and all of the swamp critters, and they post old comic strips of Pogo. I picked up a few and forwarded them on my own page, but I love Pogo. Pogo was a satirical look at American culture. When the John Birch Society flourished in the early 60s, the swamp critters in Walt Kelly's comic strip began to talk about the Jack Ash Society in the swamp. One of Pogo's best lines arose out of a very human situation played out by the swamp critters. When everything had gotten hopelessly tangled up, Pogo stood and gravely announced, "We have met the enemy, and it is us." Truth from the mouth of the possum, biblical truth, ancient truth, truth that continues to elude us as we struggle to be human citizens of God's kingdom and live the abundant life as children of God. Paul confesses that what he wants to do, that's what he doesn't do. And what he doesn't want to do, that's what he winds up doing. The spirit, Paul says, is willing, but the flesh is weak. We have met the enemy of our best intentions, and it is us. The distraught father asked Jesus to heal his son, and Jesus answered in an uncharacteristically theological and negative way, "All things can be done for the one who believes." The father answers in anguish and in naked human truth, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." Carl Menninger was a psychologist of the mid-20th century. He was the founder of the Menninger Clinic in Kansas. And he wrote a good deal about human personality and the healing of broken human spirits. Menninger wrote in his book, The Theory of Psychological Technique, about his goal for the person who comes to him for help. And this is what Carl Menninger said. I've always felt this was a really very astute observation. We want him to see himself. We want him to see that as a result of his being a human being who came into contact long ago with other human beings who were not perfect, and as a result of misunderstanding certain things and being misunderstood by certain people, he tried to protect himself by devices which he still continues to use, not from present necessity, but from a kind of habit. We want him to see that he expects the wrong things from the right people and the right things from the wrong people. And finally, we want him to see that he doesn't want to see it, that he wants to get well in a way but is afraid to, that he wants to change but fights against it. We want to get well but are afraid to. We want to change but fight against change. We have met the enemy, Pogo says, and it is us. The great prophet Isaiah, responding to the awesome vision of the presence of God, cries out, "Woe is me, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips, for mine eyes have seen the Lord, the God of hosts." When confronted with the perfection and completeness of God, all of us fall short. This isn't original sin, although it's one way of talking about it. I feel it's original humanness. Whenever we feel guilty or unclean or judged and found wanting, our human tendency, for very good reason, is to protect ourselves. Protection is a primal instinct. Adam protected himself when confronted by God. God says, "Why are you hiding? What have you done?" God's voice, I imagine, would thunder through the Garden of Eden. And I can imagine Adam in his fear and with an instinct for self-preservation, doing what we can all identify with. He passed the buck to Eve. He said, it was not me, Lord, it was Eve. We protect ourselves when we are scared or when we're threatened. It's a natural kind of thing. In our self-protection, we build walls and defenses which keep us supposedly safe, but which actually keep us from growing or loving or being our true and complete selves. Our defenses capture and imprison us, becoming not our salvation and protection, but our jailer. In some extreme instances, our protections can figuratively lock us in our own house. Our instinct for self-preservation can squash and narrow and contain life. We can't grow, we can't listen, we can't love when our protections are so well structured. We have met the enemy, and it is us. In religion, there are mysteries and apparent contradictions. In giving, we receive. In pardoning, we are pardoned. Whoever would save their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for the sake of God and the new kingdom will find life renewed. One of the most unsettling realities of our faith is that risk brings life. Not careless, self-destructive risk, but calculated chance-taking is important for us to be abundantly alive. To love is to risk rejection or the pain of loss. To listen is to risk letting in a reality we don't want to hear. To learn is to risk having to give up cherished former understandings. So it takes faith to outweigh the fear and the potential hurt that we face and take the risk anyway. A loving God didn't create us to live fearful, smothered lives. God invites us to live abundantly. Survival's good, it's fine, but there is more to life than enduring and surviving. If we were created by God only to endure, we would look a lot more like billiard balls rather than as the fragile human creatures that we are. When we feel threatened, we may want to blame that insecurity on someone or something else, something outside of us. If only that person would stop doing this or start doing that, then I would feel secure, right? Well, in truth, the solution lies in me. What I want others to give me so that I can feel safe and secure is usually what I need to give myself. The solution isn't out there somewhere. If it's out there, then I'm helpless to do anything about it. The problem and its solution, however, usually will lie within me, within us. We contain the problem and the solution. We have met the enemy, and it is us. I can risk change. I can risk growth. I can become more fully alive as God intended me to be. I can surpass self-protectiveness to find new life, new freedom, and new joy. The glory of God. This is St. Anselm, a long time ago. He said, the glory of God, that is the best worship of God, is in each of us fully alive, not closed down in fear and self-protection. How will you grow and change in this current, sometimes scary world? How will you bloom where you're planted? Now, God bless you. Thank you for taking time to listen to this. I'll try to get it posted ASAP, but sometimes technology is not my friend, so I'll do the best I can to get it posted. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.